Hey guys, I'm Dieter Melhorn. In this video, I'm going to give you another little sonar tutorial and show you a little bit about what a thermocline looks like. Alright guys, going to give you a little sonar tutorial. Hopefully the wind's not too bad out here. We've got a little bit of breeze. I'm down here on the big water on Lake Wiley, the lower end of the lake, and wind's a little more windy this morning. Might even have some storms coming in today, so bear with me on the wind. I apologize. I'm going to show you what's up here. Water's around 86 degrees. I've got it set up in traditional sonar, and what you'll notice here on my setup, in addition to the mapping, got the regular sonar over here. I say traditional, this is what most people are used to seeing. I'm in auto sensitivity. I run auto sensitivity quite a bit because for the most part, it does a fine job of showing you what you need to see. It's pretty good. I tell people until you learn what you're doing, set it up in auto. You'll be absolutely fine. Usually it's running just on these units at about 70 to 72% is usually where it's at in auto. So anyway, what I'm going to show you is here, as we start to get closer to the river channel, we're on kind of a flat here. Here's the river channel. You can see the edge here where it starts to drop off. Here's the other bank on the other side. Deeper part here, it's probably close to 40 some feet right there. You'll notice there's a lot of fish right here in this area. A couple here on the bottom, but most of them are in that 10 to 25 foot range. That band right there, which is cool. Tells you something about where the depth is. There's something right there they like. It's either oxygen, food, temperature, or all of the above. It's probably all of the above since there's a mix of size between baits, large fish, that kind of stuff. What's going to happen is we're going to roll off into the channel here, and starting to go down now. You can see this is it going down here as we get closer to these lines here as they're going down. That's the channel edge. You'll notice there's a little bit of stuff here. You see it and it goes away. Now what is happening, I'm pretty sure there's a thermocline here. But what is happening is the sonar, because its sensitivity is in auto, it's probably not showing that. I'm pretty sure it started to see it, said, we don't need to see that clutter. It recognizes it as clutter, doesn't adjust the sensitivity so it doesn't see it. So what my little sonar advice here is to go to your manual setting, click out of, boom, sensitivity. Now, it locked up where it was at, which was 68%. So what happens is, you go in there to that, start running up your sensitivity, and looky there what starts to show up. That thick band down there. Now, if we're wondering what that is, to be sure, come over here to, if you have this on your unit, you can come over to structure scan, you can look at it, and poof, there it is. It's very, very, very clear what's going on. What I'm going to do is go back to this screen, the regular sonar. I'll try to keep it right here in the river channel. And sometimes people can get confused. They don't know if that's bait or what exactly it is. But what you can do is, let's get back to that screen. If you don't have structure scan, menu, actually I don't need to do that. I'm going to get turned back up straight here. Just go to my sensitivity. Jack your sensitivity all the way up. Go ahead and give you a quick explanation. Basically, a thermocline is an area in the water column, if you look at this screen from the top to the bottom, where there is a separation of warmer water from colder water. The temperature may not be that much, but it could be a few degrees, whatever. It creates a difference. That colder water sinks, it's denser, it goes to the bottom, and usually it covers up about this much of the bottom. You'll see a line down there, kind of like my arm is across the bottom. I'll show you what it looks like on the sonar screen. The reason I tell you about this area, because that area dictates where the fish are holding and staging at. Poof. Gives you a weird looking screen, but I'm trying to zoom in here so you can see a little bit. You can see that you're still seeing all these fish up here, okay? All of those fish are up there, and they're right there. You're not seeing hardly anything. There's a mark right there inside of it. Is it a catfish that went down in there? Who knows? That's what my guess would be. But you can tell there's very little stuff down here in this. Now, that area can be devoid of oxygen. It cannot be devoid of oxygen. It just depends. I was fishing in an area yesterday, caught a fish up here on a flat, small channel cat, didn't realize it, pulled it into the area that had a thermocline, poof, it actually killed the catfish. Now sometimes you can have a thermocline and the water will be totally depleted of oxygen. A lot of that has to do with the biological process of decomposition and all that going on. It burns up the oxygen that is in that layer. Other times you can have a thermocline, it has cold water down there, that is absolutely fine, and the fish love it, and they're loaded, the fish are stacked up in it. Those are rare instances generally. Usually it's an area that has maybe a river with some cold water, colder water coming into an area that has hot water, say hot water discharge from a power plant, cooling tower, that type thing. Those are kind of rare. The easiest way to tell whether that water has oxygen or not, one, if you look at it on your sonar, you'll be able to see fish in it. If you don't have a lot of arches around, you can drop a live bait down there. If you've got some live bait, it only needs to be down there about 2 or 3 minutes, and if there's no oxygen, it'll kill the fish very, very quickly. But you can tell here that everything is staying above that line. There's not a lot of stuff that likes being in it, so that just gives you a little info there. There's a lot of fish up here, man. There's bait balls, there's different size bait. It looks like there's bass, crappie, all kinds of stuff mixed up in there. It's really hard to tell exactly what all those fish are. But I'll go back to the traditional sonar structure there. Boom, you're back on that. So you can see this stuff's pretty thick. Now, one thing to keep in mind about a thermocline, you're not going to get one in a river. A river has moving water, and or if you're in a lake that has a lot of moving water, you're not going to get one. It's stirring things up. Generally, this thermocline will set in an area where the water is not moving that much. Maybe some mild, 1/10 of a mile an hour current, it'll stratify in there. But generally speaking, anytime you're in an area, river, anything with any flow, you're never going to see a thermocline in those areas. This is a phenomenon that really just occurs in lakes. What we'll do is we will go back to our sensitivity. Start to run that sensitivity back down to where you start to see a little more individual arches, and you get a better color line there in the arches. And you really can see how thick the different arches are that are in there. We're starting to come up out of it. You'll see, I'm gonna jack the color back on down here to probably around something that's a little more readable. It all depends what you like to read, but you start to lose stuff right in there. 68 is, I believe, what the unit was showing. Now, it's just for experimentation purposes. We'll experiment. I'll go down here to sensitivity, clicking into sensitivity. Click it back out of it. Yeah, it's keeping around 68%. So yeah, that's a little bit of what's going on there. You can tell we've come back up here onto the ledge. But yeah, this is just a lot of stuff, man. I mean, it's a lot of small bait, probably this year's hatch. There's some bigger wads of bait. There's some predator fish underneath it. And yeah, it's kind of what's going on with this and this time of the year. This is what happens. It's summertime, our lakes are stable, and this is the way fishing starts to go this time of the year, and what the lake starts to look like. There's a good arch there. There's something that's suspended up in there. Now the funny thing is, don't always think that just because you see them you're going to catch them. We got an area that's got a pile of these up the lake from where I'm at today, and I never caught a fish in it yesterday. I downlined it to death for a long time. Is it inactive fish? Most likely. Could it be carp? Yes, it could. Could it be gar? Probably not gar. It's more likely inactive fish that have fed, or fish that you just ain't hanging the right bait in front of, because there's a lot of stuff in here, guys. I mean, there's all kinds of threadfin, gizzard shad. There's perch that are stacked in there. I caught perch suspended yesterday. So it's a smorgasbord of fish in here. So what I'm going to try to do on my fishing trip today is honestly get away from this. I'm going to try to find something besides this to fish, where hopefully there's a little more hungry fish around. Well, hopefully this video gives you some information, just so you kind of know what to look for out there. Like I said, generally on our lakes, It's in the 25-foot range, depending on what kind of lake, water system you're on, how much water movement you got, water temperature, kind of thing. It can be much deeper. So I've seen on some lakes where it doesn't start until 40, 45 feet. So, but it gives you, hopefully this gives you some information where you can make that determination when you're fishing on your bodies of water, wherever you may be. Well, folks, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing, and here are a couple of more videos that I think you're going to like.